Hello everyone, this is Mr. Informal give you my thoughts, analysis, and rant of Apple iOS 14. Apple Internet Operating System 14. I think that's what it stands for. But I do know that OS stands for operating system. It could be internet. But what happened today was the Worldwide Developer Conference 2020 by Apple. It was held as a video showcase because the pandemic is still on, so nobody was in attendance. So everything was on video. So I'm just here to talk to you about my thoughts, analysis, and rant of Apple iOS 14. So let me give you my thoughts right now, okay? Now, Android and Apple, this is my opinion, but I think Apple is copying a lot more ideas from Android than Android copying ideas from Apple. Because this is basically starting to look like Android operating system. But nonetheless, it has some Apple flair to it. Now we'll get to that later. So, basically my thoughts is that it looks the same except it's having features that Android already had. So to me, this is nothing new. Again, it still has some restrictions, but the ideas of Android is now in Apple. And so that is my thoughts of this. But first, let me give you the features or what are new. So the notable features are the picture-in-picture, which means that if you're watching YouTube and you want to text, the picture-in-picture will show the video still playing while you're texting. It will have automatic how should I say this, app organization, meaning if it's a utility, it will go to this utility box instead of that folder that you have to click to. So basically it's separated, it's per group, and you will see it. Not only that, it finally has some widgets such as clock widgets, your stock widgets, your weather widgets. You can make it wider, bigger, however you want to size it. So certainly it can be in the home screen. And so also the search function is also on the main home screen now. So you can search apps. Again, this reminds me of their operating system in MacBooks, and same with Windows, it has those. And so that is going to be interesting. Siri has an upgrade, certainly more words, more facts, and it also has translations and translate apps. So if you have a Apple AirPods, it can translate different languages. And so that is going to be interesting. And the suggestion, so in the app library, that's what they call it. So when you download a new apps, it divides it per group, and so they call it the app library. So in the first group, it has some suggestions. It could be the algorithms of iOS suggesting that, hey, this could be the next app that you're gonna press or you're gonna look at. It has some recently added section of it, and so that's going to be interesting. Also, Apple app clips. So if you had an app that you didn't want to download, certainly you can still use the app without having to download everything, meaning you don't have to download the whole thing. So that is going to be interesting. And certainly messages gotta upgrade, especially Memoji. You can finally pin a conversation, which is probably an important conversation. In the Memoji, you can add new hairs. They even have a Memoji with a person wearing a face mask, probably the sign of the times. Also group messages, so whoever message the recent message, their picture is going to be on top, or it's going to be much bigger. apps, or I mean maps, I'm sorry, it's gonna it got better. Whether it be guides, it has a cyclist section of it, so I don't know how you want to use that, but I guess it's helpful if you do a lot of biking training, and maybe you could use it for hiking too. And Apple CarPlay got better. It has some digital keys that you can enable to turn on your car through your iPhone. So some cars, such as they feature a BMW 5 Series, that they can do that. Smart home controls, you can control your car home, basically your air conditioner, your thermostat, so and so, through the apps. And finally, privacy. So I'm not really sure if it's a major upgrade, but basically all apps have to obtain permission before they track you. Not only that, they are not going to track you at your exact location. It's going to be a diameter of a location, not the exact location, but around there. And so again, I think I would have done more. How about not tracking us through iOS instead of the app? I would love to see Apple absolutely not track us at all, but whatever. Certainly iPad OS and watch OS has got an upgrade, but again, I'm only speaking about iOS. So those are the notable features of iOS, and let's get to my analysis here. So here is the analysis section. Okay, iOS have always been a strict operating system in the mobile platform. Certainly Android is much more open. They used to be much more open, but now they also became strict due to privacy section. But there's going to be a few, I shouldn't say few, but there's going to be a section of iOS fans here. Okay, one, you have the section, I don't like it, it's too cluttered. Number two, some say it's going to be, I don't mind it. I guess I can customize the home screen a little bit. It's not fully customizable, but it's something. And you have, last but not least, you have the third people, or the third critic, saying, I like this because I can finally have widgets on the home screen instead of having to go through inside the app. So you have those three kinds of people that are saying those, and they are all valid. And as I have mentioned, it's starting to look like Android. And for the people who generally use the iPhone, and I'm not talking about the hardcore fans or the enthusiasts, they're not gonna mind this. They're gonna actually welcome this, from my opinion, because they're gonna say it adds more functionality to it, and that is actually not bad. That is practicality, and they are actually not shying away from the original platform or the original functionality of iOS, which is simple, and it's still there. The simplicity is still there, and you don't even need to add those widgets. It's there as another function of it. And the market, the people, or the consumers, is gonna say that it's starting to look like Android. I mean, there's no way, or there's no doubt about it. But I think people don't always buy iPhones because of the software. Now, I said people don't always, because I know there are people who love iOS due to the integrated apps with MacBooks, and that's what the consumers are gonna think. They don't mind it, the additional functionalities there, but at the same time, let's not forget the critics. The major critics are gonna say this looks like starting to become Android, or they're gonna say it's starting to look, the home screen is starting to look cluttered. Now let's get on to my rant here. My rant, first and foremost, the privacy. It's pretty obvious that they didn't really do much in the privacy. They just probably say, hey, we're gonna make all major apps have permissions. I rather just have Apple not collect data. That's it. If you want to talk about privacy, let's not even have Apple ask for data. And stop making iCloud retrieve data. Number 2 is that Siri didn't really get a major upgrade. Did Siri really get a major upgrade? I mean, yeah, the translate is there, but there's also Google Translate. I mean, Google still, or Google Voice or Google AI, or whatever you want to call it, is still further ahead of Siri from what I saw of the WWDC. And Siri's basically playing catch up. I don't know what, and Apple's probably thinking, oh, I don't know where else to bring with Siri. There's a lot of things you can bring Siri. Now, I'm also gonna mention that they did have send audio to text message if you use Siri. Yeah, but a lot of Google's already doing that. So again, Siri is playing catch up as usual. And last but not least, this is my third rant. Is that again and again, I'm gonna keep on saying it. This looks like Android. I have an iPhone 11 Pro, so don't even think I'm an Android fan. Well, I can be. I do kind of prefer Android due to its customization. And I have a Note 9. And so, look, I'm glad that these features are here. Don't get me wrong. I love these widgets. To me, this is functionality, this is practicality, this is usability. And to me, anytime I get to have the weather app bigger, it's even better. Anytime the iTunes app can be bigger, it's better. I can skip tracks and I can turn up the volume, whatever. And here's the last thing before I end this rant. I really, really hope that once you upgrade, this does not crash. This does not make your iPhone go crazy, such as previous updates, or definitely slows down your iPhone, because they always do. They have this track record. I forgot the wording of it. It's obsolete obsolescence, something like that. Anyways, basically you can't use your iPhone anymore and you gotta upgrade. And for me and for you, I recommend that you should not upgrade to it yet. Wait for people to basically be the guinea pig here and see if it's worth the upgrade now or that first day. And I really wish that that does not happen, because phones are getting way too expensive. Way too expensive. So let me get to my conclusion here. So the biggest takeaway from the iOS 14 is certainly the customization, usability, practicality, and functionality. More customization, better viewing, better app organization. That to me is the biggest change up in the iOS. After that, there's nothing really much to say, because it is the operating system, but certainly I think they could do more with privacy. But what do you think of the major changes in iOS, especially in the iOS 14? Let me know down in the comments below. And so that basically concludes this thoughts, analysis, and rant of the Apple iOS 14. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.